that I've been proud of Lindsey Graham. Okay? Most of you know that Lindsey Graham stood up. And I don't know if a lot of you know, had he not done that, we would not be where we are today in the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh. And it's not about whether or not, in my mind right now, one of the things that matters most to me, it's not really about whether or not he's the right man for the job. I believe he is. I believe every single direct thing points to the fact that he's the right man for that job. But it's really more about, can he be demolished by a tactic that America can't stand for? Can that happen? That's a matter that matters. Because the Democrat Party has institutionalized treachery, deceit in this matter of trying to torpedo his nomination. If it were that any ordinary person would have captivated a U.S. Senate, surrounded their car, and threatened them, they would be arrested. Did you know a police officer cannot even pull a senator over and delay him from his vote in Washington? It's illegal. Yeah, because it can be a tactic to get a bill passed. Hey, just send a police officer out there and detain him. He was speeding, I think he was. There's no evidence, there's no corroboration of it. I'll give you a witness that thinks he saw him, but he wasn't really there. We've heard that story, right? But thank you, folks, for caring. Thank you for being here. You know, Jeff, I'm not going to take a lot of time. I have a history. We have a history going on into 2 o'clock in the morning, and you can take us there if you choose to. I will not do that tonight. I'm going to take about 15 minutes. And I want to say something about what happened within the 10 years that this caucus has been meeting every Friday night right here from 9 to midnight. And I realized how important it was when, God bless her, and I don't know if he will, Maxine Waters invited the Tea Party to come be with her. You remember what she said. She told us to go to hell. Okay, that's a little rough, isn't it? I just said she's from hell. No, I say she is from hell. I say the Democrat Party tactics that she's authorizing in the name of the Democrat Party comes straight from hell. It is not anything, folks, that God would honor, but they get it done because people slumber in their sleep and they authorize with their votes without thinking about what's happening. Do you realize this is all about killing babies? Yes. That's all this is about. Yeah. They want to be authorized by a Supreme Court decision to continue Roe versus Wade. No matter how you think about abortion, and I know how most people here think about it, it was conceived in bad law. Right. And if it ever gets to the Supreme Court, it will certainly be overturned and go back to the states. Nothing motivates me more than abortion, than people killing babies, or people authorizing babies to be killed. Nothing motivates me more. Every time I see a mother's love to a child, the taking care of that child, every time I see a mother's heartache when a child has departed, I think of those who authorize the taking of a baby. You know, the Constitution doesn't guarantee equal status. Right. What it guarantees is at conception, it guarantees all men are created equal. And that's what, when in the preamble, all men are created equal when they are conceived. And the men part of that is humans. And in conception, we are equal. But there's no guarantee of equality at even birth. Right. I mean, look at me. I was plenty deficient at birth. You know, I was redheaded. I was named Dennis. I lived my whole life with the nickname Menace. But quite seriously, there's no guarantee of equality. The Democrat Party is trying to guarantee equality, but they won't be equal with young children that haven't been born yet. They're not going to have equal rights for that child in the womb. So that's what motivates more. We mean most. We have done over the past 10 years, and I'm very proud of it, and there's nothing more that I'm proud of more than that abortion clinic. 2 blocks down the road. Jeff, I don't know if you know about this. So let me explain it. For many years, 5 years into our existence, we marched. We had Pastor Ewell. We had rallies. We had lights in the parking lot. We would march with signs down to that abortion clinic. Now, it is said that they did not do abortions there. I know that they used to. They didn't once in the last 10 years. But what I know is that I talked to somebody who had inside knowledge that they were disposing of aborted parts in their plumbing. That a plumber was called to clear up. So that's illegal. No matter if it's a part of a baby. We know they were selling baby parts, right? So what would be, how would they be opposed to the parts that wouldn't sell to just grind them up and put them down the drain? We know they were doing it in New York. We know that. They got caught doing it in New York. Well, they didn't get caught doing it here. But the most thing I'm proud of, Jeff, we've done a lot here. I am proud of the fact on the day that this caucus gave me a cake, on the day of my departure, folks found out I was going to South Carolina and retiring. I found out that the Family Life Services bought that building, and now babies live in the floor space where mothers got in line to kill to be approved to kill their babies. That is amazing right now. It's amazing. So what motivates me? All of what's before us right now. Because it is the Democrats, those who authorize the killing of those babies, who are trying to wrestle away the constitutional leadership of this country. There's a constitutional leadership here. We have a constitutional president. Some may not like him, but as I've said before, I felt like I was tied to the tracks and the Hillary train was coming, and Dudley Drew Wright came along and untied me. I'm telling you, I love Donald Trump. With a comb over and everything, he reminds me of Dudley Drew Wright. Absolutely.
Amen.
Now, I didn't like him in the primary. Wonderful child. That's my point right there. That's a breath of life that child complains with. Whatever he's unhappy with, he's able to complain. How about that? The Democrat Party, and sadly so, Jeff, and this is what you need to hear. In 5 minutes, I'm turning this mic over to you, but I want you to hear these next couple of points. Sadly so, the Republican Party, too, is in the swamp. The swamp monsters have masks. You don't know if they're Republican or Democrat. I'm telling you right now, I believe that Trey Gowdy is going to be our next Attorney General. I believe that's going to happen. And I believe he's going to get a recessed appointment after the election. And here's why. This is important. Remember, we had an Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, who recused himself from the Trump-Russia investigation, right? Folks remember that? Although he did more than that. It wasn't just the Trump investigation. He recused himself, folks, from the Russian investigations of collusion. What does that mean? He cannot indict Hillary Clinton. There is a substantial evidence that she colluded with them. Remember the Iranian deal? Got to drink some water. Of course. I'm going to turn over to you soon. Jeff Sessions. Was there an ugly swamp monster come up and before him and said, listen, you really better recuse yourself or we're going to what? Did Jeff Sessions bow to the lobby of lucre? Some folks don't know what the word lucre means. In the Bible, it means bad money. Or did he bow to the leverage of compromise? I hope it was lucre. Because the leverage of compromise takes you into a very dark place. And we've talked about it many times. It's a dark place of pedophilia. It's a dark place, Jeff, that you need to know about congressmen who have bad disposure, or bad things in their lives. They are held in compromise. because of what they do, and they're offered everything if they will take it. What has cost? I don't mean to discredit Jeff Sessions' integrity. I'm just saying this. I don't understand why he recused himself. And Donald Trump didn't either. He was angry about it. Because Donald Trump knew he was innocent. He wanted Hillary investigated. And the Assistant Attorney General, what is he doing? He's trying to discredit the president. He wouldn't have gone after Hillary Clinton and the Russian collusion. Trey Gowdy will. Trey Gowdy will. And let me tell you, this thing that the Democrat Party has authorized could mean the end, absolutely the end of our constitutional republic. We could become this mob democracy that they have used as a tactic. We have heard on the news this day, I don't know if you all have heard it, that there has been enough votes turned to where Kavanaugh's going to be confirmed. Have you heard it?
Yeah.
This gave me light. This gave me hope, because not that he's gone through terrible things. He's gone through terrible things. That aside, it gave me hope because they didn't win on the tactics that they're using. It's going to bite them. It's going to come back on them. I hope in the midterms, because let me tell you what's at risk. What did the Assistant Attorney General, what is he accused of doing? Rosenstein? 25th Amendment? Had you heard? He is accused of having said to the Democrats that he will put a wire on and get Donald Trump to say some crazy things so that he can make a case to remove him for not being capable of being president, diminished. That's the 25th Amendment. It's a way to remove the president. Now, why would he do that? Is that a Democrat tactic? Let me tell you this. Jeff, listen to this closely. If we lose, if the Republicans lose, I say we. I am an independent Republican supporting because of life, libertarian-minded constitutionalist. That's who I am. So I'll work for the Republican Party, the people who are right in the Republican Party. If we lose, and that's why I just described to you what we means to me. If the Republican Party loses the House, do you know what can happen? Everybody says, Nancy Pelosi, oh my goodness, folks, I got bad news for you. They don't want her anymore. And I've got a little bit of constitutional bad news for you. The House of Representatives Speaker of the House is third in line to the President.
Yeah.
With the 25th Amendment invoked and a very bad accident to the Vice President, the Speaker of the House becomes President.
Right.
And guess who can become the Speaker of the House? Do you folks know it doesn't have to be a House of Representatives? It can very well be Hillary Clinton. That Hillary train could still be coming. Oh, I pray that Dudley Do-Right is living a clean life. And that God's hand is on him. He reminds me of I think the King Hezekiah, who built a bridge until the time was right for Israel to be regained. And I think that's Donald Trump. I don't like him personally. Everyone knows here I resigned over him in the primaries because of how his nature, what he was doing. But when he brought to the general election what he brought, he was my hero, man. He pulled me off the tracks. I love Donald Trump. And he is our hope right now. He's our Hezekiah. I think he is God's grace until the nation returns. God help us, because please, God, help us. We are a good nation at heart who has gone wrong. With the people in the country who had snatched control, constitutional control. They don't have it, but they snatched it. Ending with this thought. Forever in my political involvement, I've had pastors who say to me, obey those who have rule over you. Romans. And I'm quandared by the fact that Jesus said, or maybe it was Paul quoting Jesus, that we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities and powers. So when a pastor says to me, obey the powers or the rulers, back in the days when Jesus said obey the rulers, God gave Israel kings because of the hardness of their heart, and He gave them the authority to rule. So there's a difference between rulers and principalities and powers. We're supposed to wrestle with principalities and powers. We don't have a king. We don't have a ruler. We have a constitutionally appointed president who if the principalities and powers overtake that office, which has happened, we are to wrestle with them. And for 10 years, this Tea Party and the Tea Parties, I think, them across the country, have wrestled with the principalities and powers. And such success that we've had, folks, you should be proud of yourselves. Because had not we had the success from April 2009 to now, we would not be seeing what we're seeing today. We would be totally engulfed, I'm going to say it, in absolute communism. Because we would have been taken by the nationalist socialist. You see, because I'm a nationalist. I'm not a socialist. I am for America. This flag right here, this flag, my daughter honored me, and I gave this flag to the Caucus. And whenever you see this flag, I would like you to remember that a daughter that I didn't abort, by the way, and I'm very proud of right now. She's on a mountain in New Hampshire, in a Christian school with her husband. She got her Senator Judd, to fly this flag above the White House. No, above the Capitol building. On my birthday, and I have a certificate honoring me and what we do.
Very good.
That's that flag. I'm proud of the fact, not just the flag, but my daughter's perception of me. Well, what that means. Thank you. Thank the Tea Party all across the country for allowing us this time. We would have never defeated Hillary Clinton had it not been for the involvement of people just like you. Just like you. Listen, I've been all across the country. Somebody asked me, Jeff, get ready. I'm sorry. Somebody asked me down in South Carolina. They said, are you going to start a Tea Party down here? And I said, there's no need. Down here, everybody is just like me. Democrats don't even put a sign up down there. I live in a little town called, just like Mayberry. It's called Welford, but the only problem is it has a boss hog, you know, and they want to permit you to death. And they are going to run into the guy who will exercise his rights. I've already had some conversations with some barbers who would not exercise their rights. And I said, you don't exercise, you lost them, you don't even know you have them. And so this Boss Hog down there, they want, if you do anything for anybody, you have to get a permit from Boss Hog. You have to pay him part of your contract. Wow. So there's Boss Hog down there. But everybody's friendly, but everybody's not your friend. Everybody's conservative, but everybody's not constitutionalist. So there's work to do down there. I give it a rest for a year, a sabbatical, but the sabbatical is 7 years. But I'm giving it a rest for a year, doing some things around the house. But folks, I'm still motivated. I'm still passionate. But the things that motivates me most is authorizing those who authorize the killing of babies. If ever I have accomplished anything in government, in the Tea Party, it is to bring awareness to the fact of those who have seared their soul on the altar of commerce, because it's what it's about. They'll kill babies because it affects their commerce. It affects the liberty of the mother. But if ever I've been motivated on anything, it is to call out those who would authorize it by vote, the taking of a human baby in the womb. Nothing motivates me more. Thank you, folks. I love you. I keep in touch with you. I'm going to introduce now Jeff Jones.